Hello, welcome to another video. Today we're doing another page in the sketchbook after the disappointment that was last week's drawing. We're drawing a character from the Marvel universe and I'm gonna attempt to draw Psylocke. This is again my art creation Royal Talents sketchbook. And my trusty old little... Actually, it's a new one. I already used it in the last video, but it's my new mechanical pencil. For this video, I also tried to already do one of my 2025 goals. And I was trying to be less safe and pick a pose that would kinda challenge me a little. I did make a video about my 2025 goals. If you're interested, go check that out. But yeah, I tried to be less safe with the pose and get out of my comfort zone. And I honestly was struggling so badly with the pose. It was really bad. I think it's because I am having a difficult time with the format of the sketchbook. I usually really love square sketchbooks, but this being kind of small, I feel like I'm struggling and I don't know what to draw with it. Like, my first instinct with the sketchbook is just drawing portraits, but I just don't want to do just portraits. I mostly do draw humans, and I feel like actually drawing a full body drawing seems awkward, and if I draw them in other poses, I feel like they get cut off at like awkward points. Maybe that's just me and my brain and there is no issue to begin with, but I need to get used to it. I feel like it also, like the way I put my hand on the corner of the sketchbook, it's so high up kind of thing. Like, there's so much edge that I usually hate when drawing in like bigger sketchbooks. You know, the closer you get to the edge, the more awkward your hand is kind of angling. And I just had trouble with it. Maybe I just am not meant to have the tiny square sketchbook. I think I would prefer like a normal A5 size. At this point when filming this, I figured out I had a pretty bad art day too. And I picked a really bad pose. It was also a little awkward to draw. So it's perfect for a bad art day. But the perfect topic to talk about today in this video. We probably all know when you really want to draw something and no matter how often you try, it just turns out like you forgot how to draw. Or if it looks like a 4-year-old could do a better job. It's just everything feels slightly off on those days. Usually this happens to me when I'm just really tired or very distracted and I can't focus on what I'm doing. Especially when I'm tired, I also get very easily frustrated or grumpy. Guilty. Also, like, every line just feels so out of place. And I don't know, it's just a miserable time sometimes. But after trying for nearly 10 years, yes, I'm that old. I'm that old that I could have easily drawn over 10 years when I was already in my teens. So yeah, I'm old. But yeah, after 10 years, I kind of figured out what works for me when this is happening. For these instances, I tend to rather continue an already far along drawing, something that's already established, and I don't have to start from scratch or like have to do a brand new sketch where I have to focus on proportions, or if I start with like a blank page that just makes me really unmotivated, because I'm already thinking when I feel like it's off that I'm not gonna do a good job and that there's no point in starting anything because it will just turn out terrible. But if there's already something existing that I think already looks pretty good, and I can do like the easy jobs, like, you know, doing base colors or just adding some rendering things, or for example, just fix certain things that are, you know, easy to do on these days, I am way more comfortable than starting anything new. But yeah, since I can't get any proportions right on these days, which I've learned from experience, it just doesn't work. Like, everything just looks off. It doesn't look proportionate. Like, the hands are too long, the legs don't sit right, it just looks stiff. You know, something is off, but you can't really tell. So I just really try to avoid it. I just try to avoid doing anything with proportion. And it's very good for my sanity. Or I try to draw something I'm really familiar with. Like, if I'm really obsessed with drawing cats at that point, I probably will draw some cats. If I'm drawing a specific topic, I will tend to just keep going with something that already feels like I'm not rusty in. Like, I'm not gonna start learning how to draw bears. That's a random example. I was just watching a friend draw bears. But yeah, usually I tend to do portraits or drawing my favorite animals, which usually I go for cats. For drawing faces or portraits, I do portraits where I experiment. I'm not looking for likeness. I'm not looking for drawing anything specific where I was like, oh, I really want to make it look like Dean from Supernatural. That just doesn't work. Since I already know I'm having a day off, like an off day, I will not try to even attempt any likeness. I might try to draw like the person I'm obsessed with, but I really go in with it like thinking, oh, it's not gonna look like that person. I will just, you know, maybe I capture the essence, the emotion, or anything close to it, but I try to be very loose about it. Sometimes I also look at other artist styles that are so far from what my style is, and I try to do a study of it, or I look at other ways how to draw eyes, how to draw mouths, or anything that I could, you know, add to my mind library, I guess. Especially experimenting with parts of the face, which is something I've drawn a lot and something I'm very familiar with, doesn't scare me as much as drawing, I don't know, a new creature or animal that I already have usually trouble with, like, actually drawing it. So I don't feel uncomfortable learning something about the face or drawing it in that sense different, or learning something new. But learning something new that I already know I have trouble with drawing on a good day, I wouldn't do that. I just wanted to clarify because it sounded confusing. I also have a sketchbook for bad art days where usually I don't care anymore if there is bad art in it. I tend to have a problem with having to have a good clean sketchbook with like pretty sketches in it, and every page has to be nice because, you know, maybe I'm gonna do like an art video about it, which I didn't even do YouTube back then, so that was pretty dumb in general. But yeah, sometimes you just have to get out of the mindset. And I also had this bad mindset about like, oh, I have to post it, so it has to turn out really well and all the sketches have to be perfect. So I got really frustrated if I'm having a bad art day, which actually carried on the days after. So most of those sketches stay in my sketchbook just for me anyway. No one will ever see them. I don't, like, they will not see the light of day. I will just let out all the bad art on these days, which sometimes that's a good thing. It helps you experiment. I also really like doing silly little doodles or just putting fun colors on paper. Mostly I'm just drawing like really simple doodles and then have some fun colors like my pastel colored pencils and just color them in, treat them like a coloring page. It's very fun and relaxing, and it could also be like drawing what I'm eating or trying to draw something that is like on my desk in front of me. On the day of when I filmed this, I did take a break after doing the sketch. I was getting kinda frustrated and I did the coloring on the next day. I also decided to fix the sketch on the next day because I couldn't figure it out, and I just went on with my day and came back to it. It also felt way more comfortable fixing everything later and then coloring the sketch. I do put myself quite under pressure when I film videos because I tend to think of my art very, very critically and have issues showing something where I think I did pretty bad. I'm trying to be less overly critical with myself, but it's not always easy. Since I did sadly mess up the face in this drawing, I was contemplating not posting this video again like the frogs last week. But I think sometimes it's nice to show the imperfections. After all, I was really happy how I did at drawing the difficult pose, even though I had like such a bad art day. I did have a lot of fun using my water-based markers for this, but in the end I kind of regret not using my watercolors as usual. Tell me, what are your methods or solutions to bad art days? I would love to hear about that in the comments. Anyway, this was just a short little video, which I am really happy I finally finished since I wasn't feeling very well the past 2 weeks, but I'm slowly feeling better again. It's, as usual, a constant up and down. All of my socials are down in the description of the video. Please go check them out if you're interested. I also have a Discord server where I want to have some art meetups soon, and maybe share some of your art there. Thank you so much for watching. Hope I will see you for the next video. Bye! Meow!